Donna Schwartz here from the Everything Saxophone podcast. We're at the NAMM Show 2022. This podcast is sponsored by Legere Reeds, and I'm here with Mauro from ReedGeek. Once again, we're here, we're back. So great to see you.
Oh, so great to see you, Donna. It seems like it's been forever.
It has been.
I know, like literally about 2 years since no, 2.5. 2.5 years.
It's crazy. And you know what? For your entertainment, you have a whole bunch of trumpet players trying to do a screaming contest, high C and above, just to let you know. Enjoy. All right, but anyway, we're here. So talk to us. If people don't know what ReedGeek is an awesome tool to adjust your reeds. Right over here, there's this is the Black Diamond. He's got many ReedGeeks actually, and there's many different surfaces on this that Mauro's going to show you. This is a great tool to carry around if you have to. You're using cane reeds and also synthetic reeds too, by the way. Where if you have to adjust your reeds, it's right here. I've got these. I use these myself.
Great. And basically the premise on ReedGeek is that all these edges we create everything with the utmost toughest alloys in the world, literally, and everything is perfectly true. So on the flat edges, the minute you can take, and we can see if we can get it in the camera here, and put it on any reed, new reed, old reeds out of the box, it's actually finding anything that's out of square. This is almost like dust, like a half thickness of a strand of hair.
And what I noticed here too, like this is a dry reed, by the way. He just took it out. I saw him using this before. Brand new reed, dry reed, and his first recommendation actually is go to the back of the reed and flatten it.
Yeah, most definitely, because what you're doing, you're also getting the reed true before you try it, but you're also sealing the pores. So it's like a sponge. So the more we can seal that, the less it's just going to soak in moisture and then build up. And again, on other videos you've seen, on all the ReedGeeks, we have various bevels, but all of them do have this little pencil eraser tip that we call it. And it makes it very convenient to go in here and kind of just erase away any area that seems to be more dense. It's almost like this is your canvas and this is your paintbrush, even for younger players, so they can look at the little heart contour and just kind of work back on either side. Of course, there's videos showing this. Anyone who's used to using knives or anything like sandpaper or files, this does such a better job, and you can just remove cane effortlessly without gouging your reed while taking too much off.
Question for you. So do you recommend, I know we should go to the sides of the reed, but I also saw you also shaving a little bit in the heart of the reed.
Yes. Once you get a basic balance of the left and right side, then you're dealing with the heart of the reed, and that's going to be your flex up and down. And if the spine is a little bit too stiff or a little too high, then you're going to lose a little of this flexibility, and that's going to cause you to maybe add more pressure and bite. So by coming in with the ReedGeek, any of the flat edges, or on the G4 here, you see these little bevels. If we come in here, these bevels are designed to actually do kind of a hybrid contour of your reed between maybe the Van Doren spine, which tends to be a little higher, the French spine, and the Rico/D'Addario American cut spine that's a little bit flatter. So the whole thing between a French cut reed and American reed is the French have a little higher spine, gives you a lot more darkness and core. The American cut was always a little more playful, a little brighter, a little buzzier. And it seems to me over the years, and even myself as a player, everybody's kind of looking for something in between. Yes. Right? You want that support and that core, but you want the liveliness. Yes. So with the ReedGeek, you're able to just make those very small, minute, fine-tune adjustments. And on Legere reed, same thing. Actually, Legere, ReedGeeks are the only tools Legere recommends to use to make small adjustments on their reeds. So same process by going one direction. Here, if I can get over here with the Legere, you can see just effortlessly removing the polymer without gouging the reed. And the Legere reed is one of the hardest reeds to work on because it's kind of a strand sort of form polymer. So, it can tend to want to rip if you do sandpaper or knives or files or. Yeah.
So now let me ask this question before we go on. So you were still working on the heart. You could do the same adjustments that you do on a cane reed, but is it the Black Diamond? Is that the only ReedGeek that works on synthetics?
No, actually, all the ReedGeeks now work on synthetics. The Black Diamond is great. We also have the Bullet, which is one of the most advanced tools. You can see that on the website. That's kind of the premier tool for working on synthetics. But also we have this little guy called the Geeklet. You might be seeing it on some other websites, but it's kind of a smaller version. This is a little version we're offering with a plaque and gauge. Same quality alloy, it just comes with a smaller tip, a little handle, so it's a little bit lower price point. And again, this is kind of a zirconium ceramic coating to it, so it works very well on the Legere reeds, and it just kind of fits in your hand. It doesn't have all the side bevels, but has kind of everything you need for just working on your reed.
I'm thinking this is good for maybe younger students and stuff?
Yeah, definitely younger students, smaller hands. They don't need the whole tool. It's easy for them to hold and work with, but a lot of pros kind of like to have one of these in their case too.
Yeah, now let me ask you something too. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That feels good. And airlines, I'm just thinking too, like, can you bring this in your case, on an airline?
Yeah, definitely. All the ReedGeeks are TSA safe. No one has that problem. They're not a knife. You can actually touch the edges. So especially for younger kids, students, schools, you can't bring any sharp objects, obviously. So yeah, that's one of the hallmarks that a lot of players, professional players, over the years have told me. The main thing is I can travel with it.
That's super important. It's so incredibly important. Now, so we've got the Geeklet, right? We've got the Black Diamond. We've got the Bullet for the ReedGeeks.
You could do a little look at the stuff later if you want, but we have the double Geeks here. Tools, again, for any of the double reed players, the people who double, that have interchangeable handle options. Same concept with the tools, but kind of a little more leverage for when you're making reeds, when you're doing. People are used to use more traditional knives. But you don't really need that sort of handles to really work on what you really need to do on the reeds. It's mainly for if you're doing a lot more work, in the hand or making reeds and so forth.
Got it. So now I know you've got great videos on this where you show in depth. Those videos are on YouTube and also on your site, ReedGeek.com, right?
ReedGeek.com, and there's some other videos actually from third parties, I think one of yourself, that are actually contribute great videos also. So there's definitely a lot of videos online.
All right, cool. Now, we're not just here for the ReedGeek stuff. I mean, the Geeklet and all that kind of thing. There are other things like the Klangbogens, and I know this because I have one. I was not one of the first people to get these, but NAMM, such a long time ago. Yeah. Oh my God, look at this.
That's the new Chromium.
Wow, that's incredible.
And again, a very hard metallurgy. So this has a lot of stability to the sound. It's very, very focused. But the whole premise behind the Klangbogens is transferring energy and getting stability in your sound. I know there's a lot of controversy between this. It's not just the heavy mass, but basically because the neck and the body of the saxophone on a conical tube was broken, there's a lot of disturbance there. There's a lot of energy loss. So the more we can stabilize, that's why some people with the heavy mass screws, you're stabilizing the energy coming from the mouthpiece and the reed. And as it makes that turn, it's starting to shake, it's starting to lose energy. So what this does is it kind of helps to solidify that, so you're transferring more energy through the horn. So end result, everything slots a little better, your low notes seem to be stronger, your altissimo, and then how it transfers the energy out of the bow is kind of the difference between the metallurgies, between raw brass, between the black diamond or the gold. And this would be true also on anything with ligatures, is that people in horns, if you have a raw brass horn, think of it as a Liberty Bell. So if you ring a Liberty Bell and it's raw brass, you have a certain ring. If you were to silver plate the Liberty Bell, chrome plate, gold plate, you could imagine that the sound is going to be different. And so that's kind of the whole premise of how sound is released. But the premise behind the Klangbogen, and we were the first in the industry to kind of bring this sort of knowledge and technology of transferring energy. In other sports, whether it's mountain biking or skiing, there's a lot that's already, it's kind of commonplace on how things are transferred, how stiff your boot is there a plate under your binding to transfer energy to the snow or to the dirt track or whatever you might be doing. So it's kind of the premise behind the Klang. So
I think that's so important for people to know, because some people be like, just the common thing is do your long tones. Well, you know what, folks? Yes, you could do your long tones till you're blue in the face, but until you try these things out, and I know this because I remember this a couple of years ago at NAMM. There was a man playing, actually a man, it was a kid, actually, it was a teenager playing alto, and you put a Klangbogen on his alto, and all of a sudden, I swear to you, the sound just opened up. You could look. We have videos on that, I think, for the most part, but that was incredible.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of pros, including Bob Shepard, that uses the clangs, and they're really great. And again, you have to practice, obviously, that thing, but in any occupation, any sport you do, extreme sports, you want it to feel well. And the more things are stable with yourself and you're enjoying playing, the more you want to go out and practice or go ride and do what you want to do. So the saxophone inherently is kind of a very wild sort of instrument. It's a little bit unstable, and that's why everyone's kind of looking for this perfect mouthpiece, reed setup. And when you do find it in that moment, that great reed, it's almost like an epiphany. Everything just feels so great to play, and that comes from stability. So with the clangs, we're just trying to aid in that stability and trying to help out, the process.
Yeah, just getting the efficiency for sure.
Exactly.
Now, do these Klangbogens, do they go on all the saxophones?
Yes, they go. We have different models here. These go into the lyre section of the horn. We can see over here. We also have them for clarinet now, and we have different models that would fit Yamaha saxophones that don't have a lyre slot. So yeah, they go, and then we have little guys for soprano, and this would be for a two-piece neck with a separated two-piece neck soprano, which again, when you have an interchangeable necks, you kind of break some of the stability of a one-piece neck, and some of the manufacturers are going back to sopranos with just a one-piece without the interchangeable neck.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And also Bari Sax too, right?
Yes, they can be used on Bari, and that's a pretty amazing thing to try them on Bari because it really locks in the low notes, because you have a lot of tube that's resonating with Bari. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also, not just a lot of tube, but also a lot of curving tube.
So again, you're trying to resonate the tube at a certain energy. So that's why when you're finding the right mouthpiece on Bari, maybe something that adds a little more power, the more it starts to resonate the tube and things get more stable. Because like you said, you have a lot there that you're trying to put, into motion.
A lot of things to think about for sure. Well, listen, Mauro, you're going to get busy in a minute. Every time I go to NAMM, there's a crowd because he's fixing everybody's reeds. All right, so I wanted to thank you for your time. It's so great seeing you again.
Likewise, Donna. Thank you so much, and to be continued.
To be continued for sure.